Uh, Thank you for coming out tonight. This is the October 23rd Town of Lewisboro Town Board meeting. And for those in the room, there's an exit towards the front of the building and an exit towards the rear. And if you will, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, first I'll start with public comment. Anybody here? And I just want to remind everyone that public comment is an opportunity for us to hear you, so you won't necessarily, you won't get any feedback from us during public comment. So just want to make sure people are aware of that.
And 3 minutes.
And 3 minutes.
So you're trying to say it's not a question and answer?
It's not a question and answer period. Thank you.
May I?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Elena Dunn. I'm from South Salem, and I just wanted to tell everybody about some really cool programs coming up at the library, if that's okay.
Sure.
A little advertisement. Rescheduled from last Friday, Maureen Cole will be doing the Ghost Walk around downtown South Salem, and it's really fun. I have some flyers if anybody wants one. That's at 7 o'clock this Friday, October 27th. Sunday, October 29th at 3 o'clock is an author panel. They'll be discussing writing and publishing. And this is a panel of 4 women, including our own Lewisboro resident, Jimin Han. And they all went to Sarah Lawrence together for their master's in fine arts. And they've been in a writing group for 20 years. And they've all had books published in the past year. So they're going to do a panel, and you could buy their books and get them signed and learn all about writing and publishing. Friday, November 3rd at 10:30. November is National Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So the library is hosting a 3-part series called Caring for the Caretaker, and with music and more. We're going to have music therapists, and they're going to explore the healing power of music and discover new ways for individuals with dementia and their caretakers to connect with each other. Sounds really cool. Sunday, November 5th. Again, town historian Maureen Cole will be sharing a glimpse into the life of one of Lewisboro's most famous citizens, Henry Wallace. He served as Secretary of Agriculture and Vice President under FDR. Wallace is also the owner of beautiful Farview Farm in South Salem. And Maureen will share pictures and clippings of people that knew Wallace and stuff like that. All these programs are free. You could register on the website, lewisborolibrary.org. And as you guys know, from time to time, the Lewisboro Library is transformed into a nightclub. And we are very excited on Friday, December 1st, to have the band Susan Said is performing. Susan Said is an alternative rock band, and all the residents are from here, from Lewisboro. Lead singer Susan Wilson Said, Matt Rocchio on bass, Brendan Sadat on guitar. This band has toured Europe and Canada. They have 4 albums, and it's their 30th anniversary of being a band. So we have tickets for sale, $30, and that includes wine tasting by Cross River Wine Merchant. It's doing wine tasting that night, and we're going to have some snacks from the Horse and Hound. So it's a great night. Tickets are going on sale soon. So check out the Lewisboro Library website for those activities and sign up. And then I have a question. And I know you don't have to answer. We all know that it's election season. We can't avoid all the road signs all over the place. There were 2 candidate forums recently, one by the League of Women Voters and the other by Golden's Bridge Hamlet Organization. Can those videos be shared on the town YouTube channel, Lewisboro TV or whatever it's called, just so more people can see it? Thank you.
Okay. Next. State your name and handle it.
Sure, Mike Gordon, South Salem. I just really am up here to commend the board for for choosing to put the pedestrian and bikeway, pedestrian walkway and bikeway on the ballot. I think that's really important. I also wanted to call attention to roughly 9 years ago, we pulled together a collaborative of informal local leadership to explore objectives for the hamlets and for the town as a whole. And one of the things that I found really interesting is that the idea of planning in real time and bringing it down to the grassroots was extremely powerful in town. And I think that the concept of these are ideas. We have done an environmental impact statement minimal on a couple of possible ideas. And then we are asking you to self-define what it is that you want to achieve with this money. I think it's consistent with what local leadership asked for 9 years ago. And I think it's a powerful idea that will in fact animate the town. And so very much appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, my name is Martha Goodman. I've been a 29-year resident of town in the hamlet of Lewisboro. I'm here to talk about what I think is the most important issue in front of our town, which is the health of our drinking water. I read 2 articles in papers last week, which talked about us possibly opting out of a class action suit in terms of PFAS and water quality, because we thought we had enough maybe evidence to pursue this a different way. Then I read another article this week talking about water issues and progress that's been made, and it was buried on page 9 and mentioned in a sentence about PFAS and Oak Ridge. I don't think anybody's aware. I don't think a lot of people in town are aware of what PFAS is. These are forever chemicals. They're thought to cause immune problems, liver problems, cancer. There's a whole host of issues. They're regulated. New York State has been really proactive, and we have maximum contaminant levels of 10 parts per trillion for 2 different of these chemicals. My interest was piqued in 2020 at a town board meeting when this issue came up about Oak Ridge. I discussed with the county health department. I was rebuffed. I tried to find out how I could test my own water. They were like, "You're crazy. We don't do this for residential systems." My interest was piqued again, maybe a year ago. I decided to foil the water testing results for all of our schools, which was extraordinary. And it's also extraordinary that none of this has been brought to the attention of anybody in town or I live 0.2 of a mile from Meadow Pond School, whose some of the water levels there are more than 45 times what the state considers A-OK. John Jay Middle School's PFOA levels are above state maximum contaminant levels allowed. Lewisboro Elementary School in 3 wells. Meadow Pond's PFOS levels are 129 parts per trillion. 10 is the MCL. The PFOA is 457 parts per trillion. The MCL is 10. And none of us were told about this by the state, by the town. I've talked to the New York State Department of Health. There was a do not drink advisory issued by the New York State Department of Health at Meadow Pond. And still, the immediate neighbors were not informed. Some people were cherry picked to have their water tested and remediated and paid for by the state. We've been told this was done in an iterative fashion. And a stepwise approach. They refuse to explain what that means. And I know of people who have been tested and remediated, yet their immediate neighbors have not. This is a huge concern for everybody. Everybody should be testing their water. York Labs is a lab you can go to. It's like knowledge is power. You have to be telling people about this. This is dangerous, dangerous stuff. And if we talk about it, we can do something about it. If you keep this a big secret, we are going to get sick and sicker and sicker. I'm willing to talk to anybody about this anytime. Martha Goodman in South Salem, New York, and I'm in the book. All I'm asking, I'm sorry, I'm going over time. All I'm asking of this board is to inform people that this is an issue, how we can test our water, who we can go to, and press the New York State Department of Health to reveal what their approach was, and then to institute an approach that makes sense and is fair for all people. That's it. I know there are members of this board that are aware of it, but who still have not done anything. And it's been months and months and months. So that.
Thank you, Mark. Continue the discussion. Thank you. Anybody else here? How about on Zoom?
Yes. Barbara Mangione, I'm asking you to unmute.
How is that, Jack?
That's fine.
Okay. During a recent Goldensbridge Hamlet organization debate, a good portion of the questions were focused on the shopping center over here and the areas surrounding it. In response to a query about commuter parking, Tony mentioned that he had reached out to the MTA regarding the North Street lot with the help of Chris Burdick, since Chris knew many of the new people on the state's transit-oriented development group. He mentioned a Zoom call and site visit were held, and stated that all parties were interested in some of the proposed ideas regarding a mixture of senior housing, parking, mixed-use development, etc., which would also present an opportunity for town residents and young people to stay in Lewisboro if given affordable housing. I have concerns about this, and I'll tell you why. The small piece of land is surrounded by Route 22, 138, and North Street, an area with high traffic volume, limited sight distance, and close to the New York State watershed areas. During peak travel times, the roads are easily backed up for over a mile, especially eastbound on Route 138, as I travel that every morning. Our infrastructure is questionable in its ability to handle high-density development in such a small area. Who would develop this area? The state, the county, private groups? Would federal funds be used? If so, you as a town board cannot guarantee or set aside units for town residents, as this was also promised with the Lewisboro Commons project, and that did not come to fruition because of the federal guidelines. The shopping center itself has been through many changes and no doubt will be through many more. I personally want to ensure as a resident that it becomes an asset and not a liability. Unchecked growth and ill-conceived projects have the potential to threaten the essence of our hamlet. We haven't even fixed issues that have been going on there for dozens of years. One of the items that was mentioned was the lease for the supermarket, which prevents other food organizations or groups or stores from establishing themselves in the shopping center because of so-called competitiveness. That's been around forever. That's nothing new. That was started with the A&P. So we're talking probably 12 to 24 years of that condition. The push to increase business in Goldensbridge has been and continues to be poorly planned and executed. Dan mentioned that the development would be in keeping with the town's character and not become another Yonkers Central Avenue. He added, quote, "The concept of rural is in the eye of the beholder. If you speak to town residents, you'll find that they did not move up here for lights, congested hamlets, traffic problems, density buildings, and more. They were attracted to the bucolic nature of the town, like me, parks, trails, lakes, quiet roads, schools, and most of all, space. I grew up and lived in the Bronx for many years. I don't want to live in a high density area. This Lewisboro that I came to love and that I moved up here for is essentially kind of disappearing, especially over here in the western hamlet of Goldensbridge. Thank you."
Thank you, Barbara. Nick Long-Bujensky, I'm asking you to unmute.
Yes, thank you. I spoke at the last meeting about the Oktoberfest, and I just wanted to come back and say thank you. I'd like to thank this entire board for coming out to support Lewisboro's own Captain Lawrence Oktoberfest, hosted by the Lewisboro Lions. Special thanks to our entire community and all our sponsors and volunteers who gave generously and came out to create a family-focused event funding our Lewisboro Lions Community Betterment Fund. Of special thanks, there were the Boy Scouts that volunteered when we were setting up, moving picnic tables, John Lemke and the Lewisboro Veterans Committee for volunteering and joining us to honor Captain Lawrence, one of our most name-recognized veterans, a volunteer in the 3rd Westchester Militia in the American Revolution that established the form of government that we are privileged with here tonight. Special thanks also to town historian Maureen Cole for loaning historical artifacts and helping us to showcase the rich history of Lewisboro. Thanks to the Lewisboro Library for partnering with us to provide a story circle for our youngest attendees. Thanks to the Vista Hamlet Stewardship Council as they did outreach for their grassroots community building in that part of our town. A very special thanks to Recreation Supervisor Nicole Caviola, who helped us all along the way as we were building that plane as it was in the air. She helped us getting us into the fall program brochure for Parks and Rec, and then also our scramble to secure a tent to shelter us from that dismal weather report. Thanks also to the park staff for their tireless efforts to maintain the facilities that make events like this possible. Thanks to Lion Janet Donahue, who serves as our club secretary, and a big thank you to Lion Rich Sclaren for helping our beverage service stay on track. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Supervisor Tony Gonzalez for his steadfast support in helping to organize not just the return of Oktoberfest, but also the second annual Cars and Coffee, doubling down as others wanted to scale back. Tony, in the midst of a debate to scale back, you inspired us to press on. You lead with your example of hard work, determination, and most of all, optimism. And I am grateful to all of you and to this community that I have chose to raise my family in. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. That's it, John.
Okay, great. All right, so we're going to start with, we have a presentation from Altice, but before that, so hang on, Frank, just for a little while longer. I just want to have one, we're going to go to communications. I have one piece here that I'd like to share with everyone. So this is related to our Veterans Advisory Committee Chairman, John Lemke, who is here. I think he's hiding,
here.
he's back there. Hey, John. So this is a letter from the county executive's office. And this is a letter addressed to John, so I'll read it. It says here, I'm delighted to inform you that you have been selected for induction into the Westchester County's 41st Annual Senior Citizen Hall of Fame on Friday, December 1st. The Senior Hall of Fame is recognized. The Senior Hall of Fame is recognized as the Department of Senior Programs and Services signature event where we come together to acknowledge and celebrate Westchester County's most inspiring residents. You are one of those special individuals that consistently demonstrates a true spirit of service to your community. Chris Burdick nominated you for this honor because of your outstanding achievements. A panel of judges has chosen you to be one of 63 deserving seniors in the Hall of Fame's class of 2023. The event will be held Friday, December 1st, 11:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Westchester Marriott Hotel in Tarrytown. And I'll just go down here. So there's going to be a congratulatory message from Westchester County leadership, along with a planned program that include lunch and a portrait photo slideshow. Again, this is, more details on, specific for John and instructions about the event. But so I just want to congratulate John for his service. He basically created this Lewisboro Veterans Advisory Committee and has it's grown tremendously, and we've done a lot of work in support of that committee, and there's been a lot of great events. So thank you, John, very much. If you want to get up, say a few words.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to be humble, and I'm definitely a senior, but I really want this to reflect on the town and the Lions Club. They supported me. They made the committee what it is. Couldn't have done it without you and my support to people, the non-veterans that I have who've supported and donated. Whenever I have a project, I've been able to raise some money. We've put up flagpoles. So it's been wonderful. I do want to announce that we're having a bigger Veterans Day this year, and we have a theme: past, present, and future veterans. And the past is going to be a final salute to two of our older veterans that we lost, World War II vet and then another vet. And we recognize our present ones, and we're also going to have a board with all our current serving active duty military. There's maybe 15 of them, which most people don't even know that in town. So we're going to recognize them. I'm going to hopefully put that board in this room afterwards, and it's magnetic, so we'll change it. So please come out 11 o'clock, 11/11 on Veterans Day, and it should be a good ceremony. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John.
I'm going to go back and watch the rest of the vehicle again.
All right, go for it. Yes,
Thank you.
go Philly, right?
Yes. Go forward.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so next we have the consent agenda. So like,
Did you want
You want me to read it?
now? Didn't you give?
oh no, that was polling.
communications?
That was for polling. Well, it was polling, but you can, if you want to read it now, you can. Yeah, yes. Yeah, go now. Go now. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna read
That's
this
fine.
now. So this is addressed to Dave Alfano from the governor's office. So good morning. I just wanted to pass this email along as we were one of the agencies that successfully passed a recent lengthy New York State DCJS audit into our department regarding new hiring and reporting procedures that came out of the police reform years back as a mandatory requirement. So we were told by the governor's office that the town received certification demonstrating that these municipal authority, state and railroad police agencies follow comprehensive state hiring standards for police officers and meet requirements to report misconduct and employment information. Each of these agencies, which Lewisboro Police Department is one, obtained certification as required in advance of today's statutory deadline. So congratulations to our Chief of Police, Dave Alfano, and the Lewisboro Police Department for being ahead of schedule and in compliance. So.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, next is the consent agenda. So I will motion approval of its consent agenda. So I have a second
Oh, you-
discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Don't have any old business, so we're going to jump right to new business. And we have here Frank Oliva from Altice, also known as Optimum. So Frank will speak to us about the fiber to the home rollout, which is going to replace the older infrastructure.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. As Supervisor said, my name is Frank Oliva. I'm the Senior Director of Government Affairs for Optimum Cable and Internet. And I am happy to be here to discuss the ongoing fiber to the home network upgrade. Currently, Optimum continues to invest in the town of Lewisboro, providing residents and businesses access to connectivity options that meet their needs. We are currently future-proofing our network to keep the growing broadband usage and connectivity available. Currently today, we offer a gigabit of service to all residents and businesses over our hybrid fiber coax or HFC network. The company continues to invest in that network while we unroll our fiber to the home network by doing things like splitting nodes and reducing congestion as the demand increases. We've currently finished constructing our remote optical line termination points, our ROLTs, which are our hubs for our fiber to the home product. The next phase will be to do the aerial cabling across our poles in the air. I should say not our poles, but yes.
Someone who's not in the business, could you put that maybe in?
Sure. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking our fiber optic cable and we're following the existing path that we currently have over our hybrid fiber coax system. Our hybrid fiber coax system, the bulk of it is fiber optics. And then when you hit a certain demarcation point that feeds the residents and the businesses, it's changed into RF. which is done through the nodes. And then that feeds, so it's an electrical signal. And with that, you get leakage, you get some degradation of signal. We're able to increase it by creating more efficiencies, whether it's through software or through mechanical changes. The fiber optics that we're going to be unveiling will go directly to the home, into a gateway, and then the home or the business will be fully fiber optic. There won't be any need for coax at the in the house.
So what will that mean for customers as far as service changes?
So we'll be offering a multi-gig solution of internet services. So and it'll be symmetrical. So the download and upload speeds will be the same. So you'll have faster internet speeds, whether it's to download or to do upload services similar to, I think, like Zoom and those kinds of things.
When you say getting rid of the coaxial, does that mean that we won't need the router anymore? Or
At some point, so right now we won't be forced migrating residents and businesses over to our fiber network. Once completed, we will be maintaining both networks for a period of time so that we can allow for a transition. But yes, essentially there will be different equipment once the fiber to the home product is made available to the residents.
Yeah, I'll let you continue.
Yeah. So just as an update, so unfortunately we have run into some challenges with our state DOT in the region that created some unforeseen delays. We had hoped to be further along the process and providing some services by the end of this year. It looks to us that we should be clearing the DOT issues fairly soon. The process for cabling will be between 4 to 6 months, just because of it's a construction project. We're going into the winter months coming up. That creates some slowdowns and some challenges because of weather and other issues. We're anticipating our aerial phase completion, so on the poles, pole to pole to the houses, sometime at the end of Q2 of 2024. Obviously, these are not hard and fast timelines because there's so many different variables in any construction project that could
when you say
delay us.
Q2, you mean June?
May,
Or-
yeah, June, end of June,
Okay,
probably in the springtime. It could be
Okay.
faster.
just for our friends at home.
Right, yeah, and again, it's a construction project and there's so many variables and we still are not past this, the DOT. But that's what we're expecting to be. And at that point, I believe roughly 2/3 of the residents are fed aerial. Once we finish that portion, then we'll transition to the multi-dwelling units on the underground at a later date.
So for our residents in areas that are not currently well served by your company, will be better served?
Yes, they should be. And quite honestly, if there are challenges by residents, I would ask the board, please feel free to send to me. Suraj, you regularly send me issues and we try to escalate those. We have new leadership at the company and they're very committed to best in class customer service as well as service quality. So that's our mantra. We're looking to provide as great of quality as possible and be the provider of choice to everybody.
Now, in terms of the cabling, so a lot of people notice, and as did I, the large reels, spools of cable along the main thoroughfares like Route 35.
Correct. That's correct.
That's like your backbone, right?
So we've done that's exactly right. We have done some cabling, but because it is there's a network plan, and there are so many state roads and thoroughfares that need to be connected. That's what's delayed us. So that's why I think it'll be a sooner timeline than a longer timeline. But again, we're still.
Is the DOT still having problems with some of these things? And my point being, is there any use in us sending a message to them like, we'd like you to resolve this?
No, I think things are moving. I think things are moving well. I think there were some initial growing pains, and then I think there were some other issues that they were working through, and we were working through in conjunction with each other. So I do believe that we're at a good spot now, and we should be you should be seeing more of our presence in the near future.
So, wait, you had another question? Dan?
No.
Oh, okay. So, in Q2, completion of the cabling, does that mean cabling down through all the town roads, for example, to
That's correct. It should.
residential?
That's
That's
what I
right.
was going to ask.
That's right.
Because most of us don't live on those main corridors.
Right. It'll be anywhere where there are utility poles.
Right.
We'll follow the utility poles and provide traditional cable drops.
Mhm.
What you currently have, it'll just be a different technology,
Right.
fiber optic wire rather than a coax wire.
Okay. So after Q2, assuming everything goes per the schedule, people will have the option to
That's correct.
subscribe to the new service.
That's correct.
Right. Okay.
And again, I will be able, I will update the board, and supervisor, if there are any changes to that, if it's faster or slower.
Right.
But we'll be in constant communication as we move into 2024.
It'd be also interesting to get information on the difference between the two services and what our neighbors can expect in the change. Just
Yeah.
so
I mean, I can give you a little bit of a background on that. I'm not an engineer. I'm a government affairs attorney, so I do the best that I
I'm
can.
not an engineer either, so.
But fiber optics, it's light and glass. So it's as much light as you can beam through those fiber optic cables that are the size of a hair, and however many you can bundle up determines the essentially the speed of internet, the bandwidth that you're able to get to and from. And there's less leakage. Actually, there's no leakage. It's more environmentally friendly. You're not dealing with traditional electricity and mechanics. So for instance, those remote optical line termination points, in an event that there's a weather event or something to that effect that takes out one side of the, let's say the eastbound side of the cables, as long as there is still a connection on the westbound, that cabinet will be able to create a redundancy and provide service to the residents and businesses. Similar to if there's a power outage currently, our network operates on commercial power. Obviously, the power company is determined to put residents and critical infrastructure up first. We tend to be second. Obviously, there are some critical infrastructure that we do have that they maintain for us in priority, but people will see that in the event that there's a power outage and they have a generator, their lights work, but their internet doesn't work or their cable doesn't work. And that's because we follow the commercial power. And once that's restored, then typically your facilities will go back up and running. With fiber optics, it's what they call a passive network. So as long as we can energize the rolls, that's what we call the cabinet, then residents that are fed off of that rolls will be able to receive services. So there's some differences there. Verizon has a passive network with their FiOS. So it's, in certain events, obviously if a tree takes down, something massive, no one's going to have anything, but we're excited about our
We're
fiber.
familiar with
Yeah.
that possibility.
So they should be, so just to restate, we just mentioned, when there's a power loss, utility power, your system should stay up.
Yes, within.
Unless it's a
Right.
tree taking the line, if it's a
Correct.
power loss that is not.
It'll be more efficient than the existing plant, because the existing plant is dependent on commercial power.
Right.
It's what they call an active plant. So I think that's the main difference. And again, it's more environmentally friendly. Anything else that I'm happy to answer?
Are you up and running with this elsewhere in Westchester, I assume? We're normally not the first.
Really not. We're down on Long Island. I'm trying to think if there are any locations, maybe Yonkers. I mean, we did. It's a lot easier to do it when you're around a major head end. So we have major head ends on Long Island, in Hicksville, one in White Plains.
And a head end is where you propagate the signal.
That's
from.
correct.
Right.
Yep. And then once you get outside of that, then you need to do more significant cabling. You need to create these rolled cabinets to help shepherd the light.
So the schedule is kind of like all of Westchester.
That's correct. Yeah, we've moved south to north. So we do have parts of Yonkers and some other southern portions of Westchester that have it available. And we are moving to more north. So the Ossining, Katona hubs that we have, those are the regions where we have hubs and head ends. So that's the next process.
Right, okay. So I just want to thank you because with the existing infrastructure, I know we had issues, especially during COVID, with a lot of people working from home.
Yep.
And you guys did a pretty good job with increasing node capacity or
Yes.
rolling out additional nodes and so knock on wood. It hasn't-
Knock on wood. Yes, thank you. And you know, we are striving for better service. We recognize we took some black eyes during COVID. I think a lot of companies did, but ours specifically, and you know, we have new leadership, senior leadership, and you know, their commitment to service quality and customer service is second to none. So that's their main focus. So we're hoping to have better quality moving forward as well.
Well, thank you very much, Frank.
Great.
for
Thanks for
coming
having
in.
me.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
great. You can hang around if you would like to listen to the rest of the meeting, but you don't have to.
I have little ones at home, so
Yeah.
You're not selling that very well.
yeah, it was hard, but I mean, I work on, had me follow a Hall of Fame veteran.
I know, right?
You know? Thank you, everybody.
We didn't
Have a great night.
get anyone.
Safe travels back home. Thanks. Okay. All right, so next we have resolution approving the rental of the town park to John Jay Youth Football on Saturday, November 11th, 2023. The application is attached to the agenda packet.
I'll motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Hi.
The next is related to the budget. So we do this every year. It's a proposed override of the state tax cap legislation and setting a public hearing. So again, this is in case we do go over the tax cap, we need to have this resolution in place in order to be able to do that.
Just to reiterate, that doesn't mean that we will. It's just if we don't put it in place now, and when we get to the final budget process, we might have to.
Right.
That it's already in place and we haven't wasted our time, but it doesn't mean we have to use it.
Or the time of our constituents.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's fine. The 27th, I think works. Yeah, because that's
anytime after the close,
right,
even if that's.
right. It has to be done anytime before approval of the
It has to be ahead of the budget agenda if you go.
adopted.
The law has to be adopted if you're going to go over.
So
So
Right.
when do you want to put it
you're
on?
considering it to be defined to your agenda on, I'm assuming the 11th.
Right,
Or the 12th, whatever you're gonna do that.
The 12th.
with, the budget, final budget meeting, so.
right,
If
yeah,
you're on the 27th, you can close it that night, you can keep it open through, through the next.
Right.
meeting.
Okay.
As long as you
Makes sense. We'll have to
close the
close
public hearing, you can go that long.
right,
Yeah.
that's fine.
If we,
Yeah.
so if we, came up last year, so we still have a timetable, because thanks to the good work of the supervisor, we have a tentative budget, which we're presenting at the cap. So, that's what we have now, on October 23rd, so,
Yeah, the 23rd is the,
well, today.
Well, that's
talking about where
today.
We are today, yes.
that's a presentation of tentative to the board.
Right.
I
Um,
presented you the budget.
Right, so
Thank you,
she's,
Jen.
And we
That's done.
received
So we're
it.
done with the.
So,
so the
we have
next,
a little timetable, just to kind of hold our,
So you
Our
want
feet to the fire,
to make a motion to set a public hearing for the November.
so we can
27th.
see where, I'd like to see if we see where we are, so we kind of, keep our fiscal discipline here, especially when we have something in front of us with a, tentative budget that's the cap.
okay, so I'd like to motion that we, well, this, I guess, it's a motion to
Yeah, you have to.
set a public hearing for the,
November 27th.
for November 27th on the
I'll second.
proposed override of state tax cap legislation.
Second.
Discussion,
I think we just had it.
all in favor?
All right.
So what's on the table? Motion to,
Just
Just
set
set
the public
it to-
hearing.
so we're matching them up, right? So.
Right, the public hearing, the budget and the public hearing on the local law to exceed the tax cap.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll at least start the same night.
Right,
They're closed.
yeah,
Very
so
well,
we do
yes.
Just
for the
to
other.
make all our ducks in the row.
So we do the public hearing on the tax cap override first, and then we vote on it. Right?
I think last year you voted the local law and ended up passing a budget that was under the cap. That's my recollection.
Right,
That's
So,
what I remember
I-
as well.
I don't care if you close the public, I don't care what order they're in that night
okay,
on the public hearing on the agenda, doesn't matter. As long as you grant
Perspective.
the local law prior to adopting a budget that exceeds it, that's all that matters.
right, okay,
So
Alright, so
27th for both is fine.
yeah, absolutely, yes.
So
Okay.
for our friends at home, in case they didn't hear that, we'll be voting on the overriding the cap first and then adopting our budget.
No, not
Or no,
adopting the budget,
no,
of public hearing on
A public hearing of
Trees.
this.
of the preliminary budget
Well,
and also the trees. We have, so it's 3 public
Okay,
hearings.
so 3 public hearings.
All right, so you're setting
Oh, my
one for the
gosh.
budget, because that's not in here at all. I'm delivering.
Public
the
hearing.
kind of Budget. But I.
There's on November 27th, there's a public hearing on the preliminary budget.
But
No,
we
Well,
haven't.
we haven't said it yet, but that's what we.
Well,
plan to do.
it's county laws by December 10th.
Right, so you're going to vote that at some point
But
tonight.
both
to
are
set
happening,
that
so 3
public
things
hearing.
on the 27th for the override, for the public hearing on the budget and the hearing on the tree
Trees.
ordinance.
Do we have a meeting before the 10th
you have
on
a
the
meeting
summer-
November 13th.
and the
and
27th
November 27th,
And then the 12th.
and then the
and the 12th? Right.
December is Tuesday, the 12th.
Right, so,
You need to adopt the budget by the 20th.
so we need to have that preliminary, that hearing.
The
On the
public hearing on the
27th.
budget was the 27th because of the December meeting schedule.
Correct,
Yeah,
right.
So you just have to vote it because I don't think you said it yet,
We have,
So to answer the public hearing, we have 3 public hearings that night.
at the very least.
so we
If
moved
it's not over.
earlier.
It could be more.
Yes.
We
As soon
moved
as we vote on it, we will have 3 public hearings that night.
Yeah,
Can we move it earlier based upon scheduling for the 13th, both of them, or we need, we're.
It's time.
To the
No.
budget public hearing before that.
Hmm?
I would keep the budget public hearing out to the 27th,
Yeah, okay.
so you have time to. Plus you have to publish.
Yeah.
Salaries have to be published in advance of that, or the board members, the supervisor, so
Mhm.
highway super and the clerk.
All right, do we need
We'll
to
have to
leave?
go in.
Okay, 27th.
okay. All right,
Do you
we're
need
good.
anybody else?
We'll eat our
Now,
sweeties
but
before that meeting.
because you did the override, tax override, Tony and Andrea,
Right,
everybody approved. Now you're doing the budget.
so set public hearing, so motion to set the public hearing on the preliminary budget for November 27th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
All
Aye.
right,
I think trees is already on.
trees are already on.
Yeah, it's already done.
Trees are already, yeah, that's already on, right.
So. we'll-
Okay.
26th.
So the next just acknowledgement, the delivery from the town clerk to the town board of the tentative budget. So everyone
I
has that.
acknowledge delivery. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Janet.
Anytime.
And that by county law, we needed to do that before the 30th of this month, so.
Take
And
that,
on the 23rd, we've achieved that goal.
Yeah,
put that.
next is just acknowledgement that the cityscape consulting cooperative wireless communication master plan has been completed, finalized. No. That's the other.
Was it attached to the,
It's on the
it's on the website,
it's on the website
under the,
under the intent advisory board page.
that's what I was gonna say, but I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, I thought I sent the link out, did I?
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the link, yeah, so you guys have it, so it makes for a good read.
Does that mean lengthy or
It's
interesting?
pretty lengthy, yeah, but there's an appendix for specific for Lewisboro.
Good.
So I would suggest everyone take a look at that and you can see what the recommendations are from that study. Which, you know, for everyone here and on Zoom, this was a study paid by Westchester County for across 7 municipalities. And they finalized the master plan, wireless master plan report. And for each municipality, there's a separate appendix, and the Lewisboro appendix is on the website,
Okay,
together with the master plan itself.
and it's under the antenna advisory board?
Wireless master plan. It's under
I'm
the
sorry.
intent advisory board, yes. Okay,
Oh, it's right on the front page, folks, so you don't have to go.
we gotta click on read more.
Yeah, no,
But it's-
I know, but when you go on the main page of the antenna advisory committee, it's right, the link is right there, front and center on
You don't
that
wanna have to
page.
go
So you
hunting
just
for it.
have to click one more time and you're there. So
Easy to get to.
easy to get to,
Okay,
and it's not short.
okay, and that's it for,
Maybe the committee will give us a little memo on what their take on it is.
the intent advisory board.
Yeah,
They're actually meeting tomorrow night, and we have the chair here in the audience, so we have a meeting tomorrow night. But they haven't had a chance to look at it yet, so But we'll, yeah, I'll make sure all the members are aware. I think they are. Because I emailed everybody. No,
So the other one is on the table.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so next we have public comment number 2 for new business only. Anyone here would like to comment on the new business items? How about on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
Barbara Flock, Mangione, I'm asking you to unmute, please.
How is that, Jenna?
Perfect.
Okay, I just wanted to know if it's possible for the town to put something up on the town's website about the Altice update, maybe write up a little something. I know I'm not that good about listening to this and understanding all the intricacies of that. So maybe some kind of small synopsis could be put up on the town website. I'd also like to know when and if the preliminary budget will be posted on the website for the residents to look at. And lastly, I just want to mention that the Golden's Bridge Fire Department had their community day over the weekend, which I was helping out at, and it was really great event. Despite the horrible weather we had in Golden's Bridge, we had almost 400 people in attendance with umbrellas. So thanks, they all came out, and have a nice night.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
Anybody else?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, so next is approval of claims. So I'd like to motion that we approve claims.
So moved.
Discussion?
Oh, you just, you just,
I
you
motion.
remove, okay, so.
Discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, polling of the board. Let's start with Andrew.
So I had the lovely opportunity of bringing my husband to Golden Bridge Fire Department Community Day on Saturday morning. We had a great time. It's always fun to watch them burn things, and the kids are just like so excited to watch the firemen and the fire just put everything out. It was very interactive. The kids had a wonderful time. The food was overabundant. And then from there, we headed over to the Oktoberfest that was sponsored by the Lions Club. And I have to say, for a first have at it, they did an amazing job. And I expect next year to be even better. And as I was discussing with my fellow town board members, I never realized cornhole could be so competitive on a local level. So it was wonderful to see, and I was amazed at how many people actually came out despite the weather, and it ended up being relatively dry most of the day. And I have the lovely pleasure of serving the beer from Captain Lawrence to our residents, along with Mr. Sclaren down there on the end. And thank you to Nick Lung-Wojensky for coming up with the plan and the execution of exactly how to fill the pitchers, have the glasses. He far and away improved on what the Oktoberfest was last year. So thank you. And I expect next year to be even better. And happy Halloween to everyone. I know that's coming up. Be safe and have a good time.
Is there a non-local level for cornhole?
There is. There actually is, and it's on ESPN.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I am not kidding. It is crazy. But I didn't realize how competitive
Okay.
it was just here in Lewisboro.
And I think some of the players were not from Lewisboro. They come from other, there's a website, and these folks that are into it, they look for tournaments, and then they travel to the tournament. So it was pretty interesting.
You learn something new every day.
Mary.
I attended the Vista Firehouse Pancake Breakfast the previous weekend, and that was wonderful. And also attended the South Salem Open House at their fire department as well. Also, it's great to see the community come out. And part of the reason that the firehouses have it is that October is Fire Safety Awareness Month. And we all want people to volunteer as well, because without our volunteers, we're nowhere. And these people make our community safe. So we're grateful. I also attended the Oktoberfest, so I won't go on about that because it was well covered by my colleagues. I want to say just a note that a community is about creating connections, and although sometimes we may disagree with each other, it's important to listen and be thoughtful and compassionate, because we don't know what everybody else is going through. So just take a moment, and when someone asks, how are you? Say something more than just I'm fine. You know, the whole point of our community is to care and just kindness and love. That's what I want to end with.
See all those Lions Club kindness with signs that are out?
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah.
people like
Good
Gandhi
message.
and Martin Luther King Jr. have also said it as well. So it doesn't need to be in a sign, it needs to be action.
Rich.
Thanks, Tom. Many of us went to the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus Gala dinner. It was the 47th, whatever.
Anniversary
Thank you,
celebration,
which was a good time.
the 47th.
I got 47th, I got that.
Okay.
So we had a great time. That was Friday evening. A lot of us were there, so it was great to celebrate and partake in that event. Shout out to all our first responders and fire departments. So we had those in the last couple of weekends, from Vista to South Salem to Golders Bridge. So we could not do what we do here in this community without our incredible first responders. We are appreciative. We are grateful for all you do for our community day in and day out as volunteers. Oktoberfest, heard from my fellow board members on that. It was a terrific event. A long day. The weather held out. Again, supervisor in the Lewisboro Weather Center was able to make sure that we had good weather for the day. It was a really good time. We had a steady crowd during the whole day, and it was just, again, the sense of community and togetherness, and it was great to be with everyone. Actually, I was sidebar, as it were. I was talking to my next door neighbor when came back from Oktoberfest, and he was commenting, a long-term resident like myself, how many more events there are, community events and opportunities to get together, which is true, which is great positive effect for our community. I mentioned this actually one of the debates for Wild Oaks Water, just in case anybody did not hear. For Wild Oaks Water, I've spoken to the Liberty representatives. They're about to close early in the new year, purchasing a bunch of property adjacent to where their facility is. And the hope is that for in the spring of 2024, they'll be able to embark on a project to drill for additional wells, as well as a 20 by 30 foot building for iron and phosphorus filtration, if I remember my notes correctly on that. So we're moving forward in that regard. Special shout out to
And just to add to that,
Yeah.
so the town is not responsible for Wild Oaks. It's not our.
absolutely.
It's a
It's
private-
private.
So we're-
It's a
we're
public
okay.
service, and the people who live in Wild Oaks
Yeah.
Water to let them know what's going on. And a special shout out to Lion Nick for all he did to
Here.
make Oktoberfest come off as a terrific event. Many weeks, if not months of planning allowed for a terrific day on Saturday, which we all enjoyed. Thank you.
Dan.
Oktoberfest, great time, and good music, good bands.
Oh, that's
too. I was impressed with all of them. That was great. Yeah, I enjoyed the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus as well. And there are, I believe, videos out in the wild of Rich dancing. So you want to try to find those.
I'm hoping I get royalties for that.
I had the opportunity to staff the recycling center last Saturday, which I always enjoy. But just a reminder that we need to staff it with an actual hierarchy. But it's always fun to talk to people as they come in. And so it was a good time anyway. But and then lastly, Martha, I hear you about the water. And there's been a lot of focus, obviously, on Oak Ridge, but it's all over. It's all over the country, and it's a big issue, and I don't know that everybody knows where we're going, but we should play a bigger role in educating and trying to figure out what our role is and how we can do that. So acknowledged.
Just one more on that note, I did, after my conversation with Martha, because we're neighbors and we live very close to Meadow Pond, I did in fact contact Department of Health, and they told me I can actually get tested. I just have to go down and pick up their sample kit and bring it. So
Was that specific?
they won't deliver it to me. I gotta go get it, which I will.
But
do.
is that true for anybody?
As far as I know, yeah. Not because I didn't tell them that I was a council person. I said I wanted it tested. I did. I told them I was located up the street from Meadow Pond, which is well known to have the PFAS in it. And they told me I could go down and pick up a kit and have it tested because they couldn't refer me to anyone to do it for me.
All those dollars are testing clothes.
Yeah.
My testing.
Oh, I have to pay for it. Don't get me wrong. I have to pay for it, but I could.
So many
bring it.
people got.
Huh?
Oh, forget
Yeah, I think,
it.
I think it's a bit complicated, so the lab has a process
Yeah.
they go through, so,
It's not
but,
that complicated. They're
yeah,
not-
but-
They're not offering you anything.
yeah,
Except to show
but, okay.
up.
Is there anything else, Dan?
No, it's just, well, let's talk more.
Yeah, we'll talk. I mean, we've been in touch. We're,
Yeah,
the DEC is doing some things, and yeah, so there needs to be further follow-up, and I agree, the messaging.
Maybe
piece
we can
as well.
put.
Yeah.
Something on our website, which has links.
Yeah.
And a list of potential
Mhm.
testing organizations, et cetera, just for people
But not
to.
everybody has internet capacity. You need to put flyers in mailboxes. This is old school, feet on the ground. I'll help, my neighbor will help, a lot of us say Uber state limit. We need to help people.
so I'm wondering if we were to do sort of random, tests of our own somehow, would that help us with participation in the suit? By having more information?
No, because the suit is only for municipality-owned wells.
Oh,
I asked for other houses, public water system. So the definition and how about.
The one in between.
Because.
Yeah, that's just noticing
Mhm.
the change in the day.
Right.
so there's a good chance that they are.
Is their water being treated? Because it should be, we should
Mhm.
do right by
Find
our
out.
first responders and everybody else. The town could pay for that, every firehouse in town.
Okay, that's what checking, they're probably in simple systems.
I
That,
like that.
it's been the DEP has been sitting on that for 2 years.
Right.
Now they're saying they're gonna retest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
we could have an
that's, yeah,
information.
we'll have more, we'll have more discussions on that. We'll figure out a way to get the message out. Yeah. Anything else, Dan?
No, that's it.
Okay, all right, so I have a couple of things. So we have some good news on, this was something we were working on with FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, related to the town's expenses for COVID, protective gear, disinfection chemicals, temporary barriers, et cetera. So we actually received due to the work, and I thank Joel Smith, I think he's upstairs, for working with us on this, and Mary Hafter, my previous chief of staff, for doing all the work with FEMA and their online portal. It was very complex process, but we got it done. And as a result of this process, which took quite a bit of time, we received a $68,000 payment this week.
We got the check.
We got the payment, yeah, $68,924.34. So that closes out that FEMA case that we had open with them for.
That money
for
go
some
into the
time.
general fund.
It does, yeah. So that's a bit of good news there. And what else do I have here? Yeah, I just want to announce that the highway department has a new piece of equipment, a hot box. That was part of our capital expense that we had approved last year. And this hot box is used for, basically it extends the amount of time that they can work on potholes, like into the winter. So it keeps the blacktop hot, so they can apply it, thus it lasts longer. It won't disintegrate again and
Right, it won't
reveal the
crack.
pothole. So that's I wanted to share with everyone. There was mention of the election. I just want to let folks know that today is the last day for Board of Elections to receive an application for absentee ballot by mail or via the online portal. So if you need an absentee ballot, you can do that before, I think, midnight.
The day before the election, you have to go in person to the office of the Board of Elections to get that absentee ballot application in.
That was the next thing I was going to read, but thank you. Yeah, November 6th is the last day for an applicant or agent of that applicant to apply in person at the Board of Elections. For an absentee ballot. And what else do I have? It was mentioned.
Early voting.
Huh?
Early voting starting.
Go ahead.
Early voting starts October 28th. There are 24 polling sites in Westchester County, and the ones closest to us are at Pine Ridge Town Hall and up in Somers and
Mount Kisco.
yeah, and Mount Kisco, but you can vote at any one of the 24 sites starting October 28th in case you're busy on election day, which is November 7th.
It's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I believe, Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
So another, just a point on the budget, we have, so it's the tentative budget that was delivered to the board. I did request that budget be posted on the website. I believe it's there already.
Yes, it is.
But the budget that's going to be open for or available for the public hearing is the preliminary budget. So it's not the tentative. So, it's there, but the preliminary is the one that's required to be.
You'll vote that on the 13th.
Correct.
And
right.
The public hearings already said.
Right.
Where can they find the preliminary budget? That's the question that's going to come. When will that be available for the public to see? Because this is the tentative. So
yeah,
that's the next question that's coming. So if you just explain the process, that would be.
Yeah, so let me look at the schedule here. So we have until the 26th, right, to prepare the preliminary budget and then post it for the 27th. So we're hopefully going to be getting it done before that.
You're
voting on
tentative now. You've discussed. You can vote on the preliminary, and that will be posted. It'll be the tentative with whatever modifications you made.
That's the preliminary.
Yes, be posted.
That's the preliminary.
And then on that.
Right, and then we have until December 20th to adopt the final budget.
Sure.
Right, so the preliminary can also be changed.
So I know, I just wanted everybody to understand that it's preliminary budget isn't something that's already in existence. It's something that's coming down the pipe, so they shouldn't be looking for it yet to analyze it. It's coming. It's going to be a work of art and based on contributions and suggestions that all of us have to make to Tony if we think something should be changed and those types of things.
Right. Yep.
I have one more thing after you're done.
Okay, so
Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
that's good. We're good. Next is, I just want to address a couple of points that came up. One is regarding the Barbara mentioned the project in Golden Bridge. So first of all, that is very, very early stages. That is an empty parking lot that's in Golden Bridge that people have been complaining about. It's an eyesore. It's been empty since COVID. It's maybe 25% filled now. So in discussions with including the shopping center folks, the property manager, brainstorming some ideas. And I did bring this up with DOT, who owns the property, and MTA, who leases the property. MTA is okay with us doing something with that property as long as they maintain their parking spaces. So this is just a very preliminary discussion. They were interested enough to come to the site, both DOT folks and MTA or Metro North folks. So right now it's got no legs, but as soon as we make some progress and determine if indeed the DOT will be receptive because it is their property, there will be more information forthcoming. And of course, we're not just going to build something without consulting and looking at what the options are and what type of housing or mixed use. Someone said to me, mixed use with easy walk to a path for pedestrians to get to the platform, to the train station, so people don't even need a car.
Which part of the parking lot are we talking about?
It's the east lot on the east side of 684.
One closest to the shopping center.
Right, with connectivity to the shopping center, maybe a pedestrian bridge, right? So folks can walk across and do shopping. And so that's just, again, just brainstorming some ideas to improve that part of town.
I can imagine it would have to be coordinated with the big 684 upgrade projects in certain ways as well, that were considered together with it anyway.
Right, right. And also, of course, is it's within the New York City DEP watershed, so we need to consult with them. DEC needs to be involved as well from actually DEP from a wastewater perspective in terms of what can be built for wastewater treatment there's a lot, it's a lot of work. So these are just some initial ideas. But that's how you start, right? You start with some ideas and then you grow from there. Like the Lewisboro Commons, which was also mentioned. And just to clarify, there is actually a resident that lives there. So someone local whose daughter was able to find an apartment there and was able to go through the lottery and has some health issues or disabilities. And she was able to move in there, be close to her family here in Golden Bridge.
Very nice.
So that's a very good story there. So
Just FYI, the mixed use complex that was built eventually by Avalon in Harrison took almost 20 years in the train station parking lot right next to the train station.
Yeah.
So it took almost 20 years to come to agreements with the NTA and all of it. So it is a long process, and I hope that doesn't take that long. But it's a nice project, and it's mixed use, and they have affordable housing in there as well. So it's
yeah. And the MTA are interested because it increases the ridership,
yes,
right? That's part of the reason why they're developing along all the train stations on Metro North lines.
Actually, just has spoken to some residents that brought up just into the parking, that if there's an opportunity to speak to the powers that be as far as maybe getting more metered parking based upon post-COVID of things have changed. So there's more opportunity for those who commute infrequently and don't have permits.
Or more metered versus permits. Yeah,
Right.
I actually have
Opportunity
I pulled up the agreement between the town and MTA on that today, as a matter of fact. So I'm gonna look through that and see what we can do.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. You said you wanted something.
One more thing,
else?
the Lewisboro Garden Club is having a holiday swag fundraiser for the club. If you'd like to order any swags, please go to the website lewisborogardenclub.org. It's pretty self-evident, and click on holiday swags button for the form. Beautiful swags to hang on the door or mailbox, sponsored by the Lewisboro Garden Club. Holiday gift, it's a great idea. Buy one for your neighbor, a senior, or for yourself. Spread holiday cheer and community spirit. Orders are due by November 15th. The swags will be delivered the week of December 3rd. There is a $35 non-refundable fee for each swag. So shop early and shop often.
Okay, so let me say that. So I get to announce the next town board meeting. All right, the next town board meeting is Monday, November 13th, 7:30 p.m. here at the townhouse. And there is also a meeting change. So the Monday, December 11th meeting is moved to Tuesday, December 12th.
And then December, November 27th between.
Correct. Yeah, we still have that. Yeah, yeah. So I'd like to motion to go into executive session to discuss a legal matter.
So moved.
Second discussion. All in favor? Aye.
all right.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. People on Zoom, thank you.